Welcome to an episode of the Paddle and Portage Podcast. Peak of summer, busy times in the Boundary Waters. Baxley is out paddling some rivers out west, Montana, Idaho. Check our social media pages for some of the content with Team River Runner from the Yellowstone River in Montana. Episodes coming up about that in the near future. So Monday afternoon, July 21st, like later in the afternoon, get a text sent over from Helena from the Hudson Bay Girls. Hadn't heard from them in a bit, and she checks in and says, "Hey, we're here at Norway House," which is on like the other side, the far side, or at least from the Grand Marais, Ely, Boundary Waters perspective of Lake Winnipeg. So they are across Lake Winnipeg on their journey to Hudson Bay. If you recall, when we met up with them, both at Canoecopia and then also up in Grand Portage at Lake Superior when they started their trip back in May, the Hudson Bay Girls are now at Norway House. So a huge deal. Elena's saying that they've been through so much on their journey, navigating backcountry travel restrictions, dodging wildfires, a trip-altering injury. Something happened to Emma on the trip, ever-changing weather conditions. So they've been busy, to say the least. That's the update. Also, send some audio files and some videos, some pictures. So we got all the pictures and the video and so forth on social media channels for PMP. Check that out there. But today in this episode, we're going to hand off the podcast reins to the Hudson Bay Girls and hear how things are going from their perspective.
Hey, Paddle and Portage listeners, this is the Hudson Bay Girls, and we're coming at you from a rainy day in the water.
Hey everyone, this is Olivia, and I wanted to talk for a moment about our first section of our route, the Boundary Waters, and kind of what that whole area means to us. So the first day and two of our route were probably the most physically challenging and mentally challenging days that any of us have ever endured, ever, especially in the backcountry. Grand Portage was definitely a group bonding experience. Took us about 12 hours to get all of our gear across that portage. Our packs weighed about 115 pounds. And then we had our 65-pound canoes and then our extra little bonus pack that was 30 pounds itself. So our light, easy portage was the canoe, and then our heavier portages were above 100 pounds of weight. So yes, it was just a lot of moving forward one step at a time. And yeah, it really just reminded me that forward is a pace, and some things you really do just have to complete one step at a time to get across. And then the next day after Grand Portage, we took on the Pigeon River, which was actually a little bit flooded as we were there at the start of the season. And that was just 12 miles of paddling upriver and then getting out and walking our canoes upriver. And that was also just a very challenging day. We were all pretty tired, but yeah, every single step we took those 2 days and every single paddle stroke we did took us closer to entering the Boundary Waters. And then when we finally got there, we enjoyed about 12 days of canoeing the border route, and we met many nice paddlers along the way. It took us actually a whole 8 days of paddling to see other women in the backcountry out there, which was a really wild experience. But yes, the Boundary Waters is where all of us got our start in canoeing, and we're also partnering with Save the Boundary Waters on this expedition to advocate for a permanent mining ban for the Rainy River watershed. Our whole route from Boundary Waters up into Hudson Bay actually follows the path of pollution that the sulfide or copper mining proposed in the Superior National Forest would cause. We also try to practice leave no trace and just leave every single area we visit as unimpacted as possible. And yeah, other ways that parts of our route have been environmentally impacted is Lake Winnipeg. That area is well known to have algal blooms every single summer due to agricultural runoff. We were fortunate enough that we didn't encounter that. We think it was because we're also there a little bit earlier in the season. But yes, the North Woods that we're traveling through are incredibly beautiful. There are still so many wild spaces we can protect, and yeah, it's very important to use our voices to stand up for these areas before they are damaged and impacted by mining and other pollution. And more recently, now that there is a re-emerging threat against the Boundary Waters and kind of more of a push to enable mining in that area, this trip really just feels like a great opportunity of us to remind us of the beautiful wilderness area where we all learned our backcountry and canoeing skills at. And yeah, it's just given us a chance to really highlight this space and fight to protect it.
Hi, I'm Laura Mullen, co-founder of Bent Paddle Brewing Company in Duluth, Minnesota. Here at Bent Paddle, we make quality craft beer and hemp cannabis beverages from the clean water of Lake Superior. On your way up to the BWCA, be sure to check out our Lincoln Park Craft District tap room to get a stainless steel or growler to go, or find Bent Paddle at restaurants, bars, and liquor stores throughout Minnesota. Let Bent Paddle be the bridge that lets good memories and conversation flow while you're reflecting on the perfect campsite or the splendidness of the Northern Lights. For more info, visit bentpaddlebrewing.com or check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Cheers!
Hey y'all, this is Helena, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on this trip about why I love canoeing and what it means to me, and I want to share a little bit of that. I think that canoeing brings people together and forces you to grow together, and I am a storyteller at heart, and I love to listen to people and share stories of my own, and we've gotten to meet so many people along the way connected to us through canoeing and learn so much about the communities that we're paddling through. Whether we're stopping by portages like Beatty Portage, meeting people who have been running businesses and working there for years, or some fellow paddlers like some of our friends that we met that helped us with the resupply in Kenora. So that's been awesome, but even more so, we've gotten to learn so much about each other, spending so much time in the boats together every day. All we have is each other, and all we do is tell stories or sing songs to get us through. And I'll tell you, when the pain gets worse, the singing gets louder. And at this point, now we've probably told each other everything there is to know about each other. So we have resorted to telling each other our favorite movies and books from memory, which is super fun. But yeah, ultimately, through everything that we've gone through as a group and the challenges that we faced, we've learned so much. I look at myself now and I think about how far I've come, and I feel stronger now. I feel more grounded now and more connected to the outdoors. And I'm just so grateful for everywhere that canoeing has taken me. I'm so proud of how far we've come already. And this is just, I don't know, it's my life. It's my passion, but it's just so much more than me. To have a purpose and a cause, to advocate for the Boundary Waters and women in paddling and share these stories from this region, it's everything to me. And this trip has just made that so prominent for me. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Lyons. I'm the executive director of Save the Boundary Waters, and I'm that person who sends you way too many emails. But also, if you don't get our emails, you should probably go sign up. Save the Boundary Waters is a proud sponsor of Paddle in Portage. We work to protect canoe country so that folks can paddle in Portage in northeastern Minnesota for generations to come. Did you know that the Boundary Waters is America's most visited wilderness? Not only is it one of the country's most iconic and unique landscapes, but its 1.1 million acres of lakes and boreal forests offers something for everyone. People have long found inspiration and strength in the Boundary Waters, and now the wilderness needs you to speak loudly on its behalf. The future of this special place is at risk, threatened by America's most toxic industry, copper mining. Thanks for reading all the emails from us. I know we send a lot, but clearly there's a lot at stake for canoe country. You can make a difference. You already have. Join us in the effort to protect the Boundary Waters for generations to come by visiting our website at savetheboundarywaters.org to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is Emma. One of our goals on this trip was to inspire young women and women and girls of every age and everyone to get out into the backcountry and just the outdoors in general. Along this trip, we've met so many wonderful people who have helped us along our way. We've had our fair share of trail angels who have done everything from letting us stay in their backyard, letting us shower at their house, or even like loading up most of our gear into the back of their truck and helping us cross portages. We have met so many strong, wonderful women who the older generation were so impressed with our trip and talked a lot about how much women didn't do this sort of trip as much previously and how excited they are to see a group of younger women doing this. And we've supposedly inspired a bunch of people to get back into the wilderness and back into the backcountry and back into canoeing through our trip. We also have people telling their kids about us and about our trip, and they're so excited to share their experiences with us, and it's so wonderful to have this sense of community.
Hello, this is Gwen from Drury Lane Books in Grand Marais. So last year, it's been about a year since we've had Last Entry Point by Joe Fredericks, Stories of Danger and Death in the Boundary Waters, and it was our top-selling book in 2024, and it continues to sell great at Drury Lane. We've shipped it to Paddle and Portage listeners around the country and introduced it to folks in the store who are coming in to get some reading material before they head out to the Boundary Waters. So we're happy to support Joe's writing and Paddle and Portage.
Hey, this is Abby. Something I've been reflecting on a lot lately, especially as we paddled out of Lake Winnipeg, are the lessons we've learned from the water, the challenges that are, integral to expedition canoeing and how that shaped us. And we faced our fair share of challenges with fire, weather, even injury. Currently, Manitoba is experiencing a record-breaking wildfire season. We actually had to get special permission to paddle through Whiteshell Provincial Park from the MNR, with the stipulation that we paddled the entire part of the waterway within Whiteshell in one day. So we ended up doing about 3 to 4 30 to 40 mile days to finish it up, and boy, we felt it at the end of it. Right now we're navigating some fires flanking the Hayes River and also our alternate routes. We've been seeing and hearing aerial firefighting units flying about for the past week. Actually, one day last week, our visibility got down to about a half mile due to the smoke. So we're all hoping this rain continues over the next few weeks and we're able to finish and continue on. Another part of canoeing is working with the weather and working with your environment. We just finished paddling the entire east side of Lake Winnipeg, which is some pretty big water. This lake kind of forces you to be adaptable. No matter how much you plan, you're always paddling at the mercy of the wind and the waves. We had some surprise layover days when we got struck with some 6 to 8 foot swells. I mean, it's such a crazy feeling when you're looking up at a wave while it crests and just hoping that there's a place to land on the other side of the rocky reef. It's crazy to be paddling and you just look out and you can't see a single other thing besides the shoreline you're paddling on. Lastly, we've actually had an injury, unfortunately, a shoulder injury that happened on the Winnipeg River. So while the fire and weather may be on our side, the well-being of our crew always trumps our decisions. So we had to get a little bit creative to keep moving through this. And, one day we had Emma in a sling and we put her in the bow of the canoe and attached the paddle to the gunnel like an oar using our spray skirt. So they actually one-handed rowed backwards for about 25 miles that day so that we could keep moving to the next site. And, despite these challenges, we're just so grateful to be able to paddle this route and to come out the other side having learned these lessons. Challenges are always going to happen no matter what type of trip you're on, backpacking, canoeing, a day trip, a week trip, a 3-month trip. So it's important to learn from these challenges and take those lessons with you.
Thanks to the Hudson Bay girls for this update. Again, on Monday, July 21st, they were at Norway House. That's where these updates were sent from, and some of those were recorded there as well. So we'll continue to follow that journey as they continue on toward Hudson Bay, and also following the Solitude of 4 group that left Seagull, end of the Gunflint Trail, not long after the Hudson Bay girls, like that same week. I think the Hudson Bay girls left on a Monday morning, and Solitude of 4 left that next Saturday, like that, just 5-6 days later. So we'll track both these groups as they continue on toward Hudson Bay. Follow it here on the Paddle and Portage podcast. Follow it online, paddleandportage.com. And while you're there, you can check out what a subscription offers. And one thing that it definitely does do, if you support Paddle and Portage, is support this podcast so we can share these types of stories from the paddling community across North America. Appreciate you. Appreciate the Hudson Bay girls and all the time they took to make this episode possible. And, of course, thank you to our sponsors.
I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around campfire light, all around the campfire light. I got this out of tune old guitar, not trying to be no star. There's enough of them in a summer's night. Oh, there's enough of them in a summer's night. Well, you can look to Venus, you can look to Mars. I will set my sights by the northern star, and in the deep dark blue come the northern lights. Oh, and in the deep dark blue come the northern lights. Sing when I paddle canoe, feeling, not thinking if the strokes are true. We're gonna get through to the other side. Now, out in the night, the waves beat the shore. You can hear 'em pounding, you can hear 'em roar. Oh, roll me, rock me in my dreams. You can roll me, rock me in my dreams. So I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around the campfire light, all around the campfire light, all round, all round, all round the campfire light.